We talk a lot about who's got the best players, who's got the best teams, but what about the value of the manager in all of that?
Yeah, it's like any manager's job is to get the best out of the group of players. He'd be the first to tell you. Arguably, when he was in Spain, he had the best group. When he was in Germany, he had the best group. And since he's been in England, he's had the best group. But that doesn't mean you're going to win anything. He's got ridiculously talented players at City. But you know what? They all come off having put a shift in. They all come off saying, I've left it all out there. They all come off knowing they've put... Even little Bernardo Silva, who's can't be the biggest and most powerful player that's ever played football, he's actually tackling 6'4" Drogba today and taking the ball off him. They've got...
Pogba.
Him as well. Yeah. Wasn't that a big Drogba, was he? They're just a team that are full of talented players but work their socks off. And it's all about the cause. It's not about personal glory. It's just about us winning the game of football. And I come back to it. I played in a team that was dominant. But before we went out the door, all that was said to us, work as hard as opposition, you've got a chance today. If you don't work as hard, you could get beat by anyone. And I think City approached that. We're going out, first and foremost, to outwork you, to put a harder shift in you. And you see the benefits. The football is a delight to watch.
Well, here's a little stat for you, Roy. The 14 players that both used tonight, City's cost 441 million, Manchester United's cost 427 million. So what is it that sets City apart from United?
Well, I think their recruitment has been better over the last number of years. I think we've been quite critical of the players and what's gone on at Man United, but the recruitment certainly isn't where it should be. I think when we were at United, we always felt United were on top of everything. That's what we felt. Maybe it wasn't the case. We felt we were first class on the pitch, off the pitch, people in the background, the scouting, the medical side of things. But I just get the impression that United have just slackened off on every aspect. And they've invested heavily over the last few years, but it's not been... A lot of the deals haven't worked out. It's just not happened. Obviously, they've chopped and changed the managers, but the players who've come in, it's just not happened for a lot of them. And they've invested, obviously, huge transfer fees and huge wages.
Sit in a wonderful position where they've got a team that's winning trophies. The nucleus is there. That how they're going to play is set. How they're going to play, and it's just about cherry picking. It's what you did for years at United. You were top of the tree, and you could just go out and pick 2 or 3 players. At the end of each season, you weren't buying under pressure. They didn't have to come into the team and be in the first 11. They could pop in and out. They could have a good look at what you do, and get your way eventually. Whereas now United are buying under pressure, and that's where the mistakes happen. They have to buy. What's their priority? Could you tell me what the priority is?
Player-wise?
Yeah. No. Is it what position? Is it a midfield player? Is it a defender?
The worry for me is they certainly need a couple of centre-halves and 2 full-backs. That's 4 for starters. But I also worry about who's making the final decision. You get the impression there's a bit of just chaos in the background. I know Ed Woodward gets a lot of criticism, the scouting department. Will Ollie have the final say over a player? I don't know, because if you speak to the previous managers, I bet you that was a big problem.
But that's the difference in the 2 teams. Where are City going? Are the right people making the decisions? What positions? What is the priority? Where City know where they're going. City know that Fernandinho is 33, so that's an obvious thing. They can just cherry pick, and they're not buying under pressure. And that's when you don't make mistakes. You can look and look and look. And like you made the point with Jorginho. And it didn't have to, so we don't get on. There'll be someone else comes along next year. But I think United, it's a really, really difficult place to find themselves in, I think.
I think you're right, Graham. I think before you identify what you need to bring in, you need to identify which ones you actually like. And under Jose Mourinho, I got to the point whereby I wouldn't know where to start. And I watch a lot of United. We all watch a lot of United. And I'm not sure who I'd keep. And that's a real confusing place to be. So you've got to decide who you're going to keep. Then you've got to decide who you're going to try and bring in. And then you've got these contract situations with Marcus Rashford, David De Gea, Mata, Herrera. You've got 5 or 6 contract situations which are live at the moment as well. So you look at the sort of turbulence that exists and you're watching them and you don't know where to start. I agree, you need 2 centre-backs. But then which of the other 2 centre-backs do you keep out of the ones that you've got to make the 4? It's confusing.
You've got a right winger playing right back, who's your captain.
And also, which brilliant players out there that are available will want to come to United if they don't finish.
United will also attract players.
Graham, I always thought that when I was a player, and up to the last 2 years, if I ever spoke to a player who had a chance to go to Man United, I would say, you've got to go to Man United. I don't care what. Brilliant club, absolutely brilliant club. But you're on about players now wanting to win the big prizes. You look at Man United, if you're a top player, you will not want to come to Man United because there's better options out there in terms of winning trophies.
I think Roy, what I want to pick up with Roy just saying there, I agree. I always thought that Manchester United would be able to attract the best players. I still have that feeling. But Real Madrid and Zidane are looking to sign 6 players this summer. Bayern Munich are an old team and looking to sign 5 or 6 players. These are great clubs. Let's be clear about that. So there's not just
but
Manchester United.
This.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. But Manchester United are in the market with Real Madrid and Bayern Munich at the moment to try and sign the same players. Manchester City want players. Arsenal need players. Chelsea, they all want players, and that's the big problem. That it's not just Manchester United that are needing to rebuild. Those other great clubs as well that are actually trying to do it at the same time.
The conversation will inevitably move on to Manchester United. But a final word on City, Joe. You've been part of the fabric of the club. Give us an idea what the ethos is like. Is it just all about winning at City?
I think it was obviously finding the identity, what Graham's talking about in the transfer window. I think City do have a clear message and a clear path in which they're going. So there's only certain players. They don't necessarily have to be world superstars. They have to fit into their team and work in their team. So that's what they're after. They've found that with the manager. They've backed him and he's backed the club as well, saying he's going to stay. So it makes it easier for them to build what they are now. Under Roberto, we were pushing and we were fighting. We were trying to find the first title. Under Manuel, we were trying to find consistency, maybe win a double, a League Cup and a Cup or an FA Cup. Now they want to be winning quadruples. I know they played it down, but that's where they've built themselves and that's where they've put themselves, and I think that's where they're going. So it's a real powerhouse of a club coming up against you, Man United and teams like that who are world superstars. City are putting themselves in that bracket.
It's a frightening prospect for everybody else, isn't it?